This program is rated PG. It contains themes and scenes which may not be suitable for very young audiences. Parental guidance is advised.
Be advised that the views and opinions of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
Welcome to Usapang Bayan. Ako po si George Chua kasama ang aking co-host na si Rach Marquez. Pag-uusapan po natin ang mga mahahalagang pangyayari at issue na kinahaharap ng ating bansa.
Makasama po natin para sa gabing ito, Art Conservation Specialist Miss Annali Garcia. Welcome to the show, ma'am.
Hello, good evening. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat.
Maswerte tayo ngayong gabi na kasama natin ang isang one of the few people in the Philippines who does art restoration and conservation work. No, maybe we can start with Annali. You telling us a little bit about your background, particularly your education that makes you qualified to do conservation and restoration work.
For high school, I went to Maryknoll College. Then after that, I went to UP Diliman, where I took up a course in interior design. So it was like a technical course, and half of it was done in the College of Architecture. So I finished a 4-year degree course, knowing how to draft and be assisting architects. After which, I worked some good 10 years with architectural companies here and in Hong Kong. After which, I decided to take my master's degree in Spain, in Europe. And then I stayed there quite long because I liked it so much there that I decided to stay and train with experts in conservation.
What do you see are the major issues that we have in terms of our artworks here in the Philippines? Do they need a lot of restoration work, or are they being conserved properly?
It depends po kung saan yung artwork nakalocate. So in private sector, private homes, some of them are in good condition, quite well preserved, and they have people who maintain them, or they don't actually do anything about it. And in some areas, they are damaged, they are just neglected, they are in a bad state.
Since we're talking about art restoration, ma'am, ano po ba yung ginagawa sa pagre-restore ng art? What specifically is done kapag po magko-conserve ka or magpe-preserve ka ng isang artwork?
Well, first of all, when you say restore my artwork, you normally make a diagnosis. It's like going to a doctor. What's wrong with me? So, gagawan niya ng diagnosis, ocular inspection. So, observing the artwork, do you see if there is a lot of grime on it caused by the pollution, the weather, exposure to sun, the water, the typhoon, rain? Was it ripped in pieces? Was it smashed by someone by purpose? Or did humidity increase the molds that made it look very dark. So there are various problems. So that after you make a diagnosis, then you explain to the client, to the owner of the artwork, na ito po yung problema. We need to either first clean it, catalog your collection, kung isa lang yan, or kung dalawa, or 100 paintings na nakatago sa bodega, or after which you also clean. You can clean it. You can make a proposal to clean it, and then if it's not consolidated, the words consolidated means buo pa ba siya, or is it in 5 pieces, no? So that we bring it back together,
As the original piece.
right? And in what strategy do we make it whole again, for the private sector, or is for the state? Art for the state, which is a big difference ang intervention. So ipapakita na may defect yan dati and it was brought back to one piece. But in the private sector, minsan sa pagbenta ng mga artworks, hindi mo pinapakita na may defecto. So it's like as if nothing ever happened.
You mean to say that because I collect coins, and one of the principles that we have is we don't try to clean or touch the coins, no? In the case of art restoration or conservation, you mean to say that you actually try to clean it up or paint
Yes.
over areas that are faded, or
Right.
paano ba yan?
Yes, meron ho. Because as you clean something, an artwork, there you see where the missing areas are, where the parts have fallen off, have been eaten by the molds. In the case for metals, no? Okay, as it ages, nag-oxidize ang metal. So there is a greenish patina that covers it, especially when you see old sculpture. It is very beautiful, no, to see old metal. Sinasadya nga nila yun eh. In fact, if you've seen the works of Mituray, there's a favorite sculptor of the Pope John Paul. He's Polish and he was commissioned a lot of works. He gives that patina of greenish, oxidized metal.
So that's actually enhances the value, right?
Oh, it just looks old. And it's being real because if you clean it too much, it might look fake.
I see.
And you're not sure anymore if this was made today or really way from the 15th century na from the galleon ship.
Right.
So that is probably why they don't encourage cleaning your coins.
But you said that you could consolidate works. Let's say nagkapunit-punit yung
Right.
canvas, no?
Oo.
Do you weave that, sew it together? How do you put them together?
Yes, there are techniques called the fermatura techniques, reintellatura. It's called lining it. There are cases like in the Uffizi in Florence. The mafia pinasabog, no, yung painting. It's a huge mural. So it was like an entire team of conservation specialists who got together to sew it back up again, and it is one whole piece. So it's like in constructive surgery, like surgeons, minsan na ano ka na accident, medyo they can fix it again. That you look, your face is buo. Which is done also in medicine. So we have basically the same theory na, ay, natapakan ng aso, may butas. Pwede yung tapalan sa likod or reline. And then over it, then we'll put another paint. We match the color. After that, pictoric integration. Until hindi na halata na meron siyang damage.
When did you develop your love for art, ma'am?
At a young age, I had a grandmother who exposed me to good music at home, and good art. My parents, they always encouraged us to draw at home, or my mom had records of good piano music, ganyan. So culturally, I was exposed to people who loved art. As a growing teenager in high school, even if I was sent to a Catholic school, my classmates now, they would tell me, Annali, I still remember when you would design our class t-shirt. Kasi syempre, it's more conservative there. Then once you go to UP, Diliman, it's a different world again. And then you get sent back to Europe, which really opens so many doors. Like, I think I practically visited 100 museums. England, Norway, Amsterdam, Central Europe, Spain, Italy. But I have friends who say, I don't know how you can stand 4 hours in a museum.
But you like it.
Yes, it's just something I love so much. The same way I cannot stand shopping. Like, if I can buy everything in one store.
Does that mean that you have a lot of artworks that you collect as well?
I'm not a collector, but I do have things, especially I take care of my father's collections or friends or some clients. I do not attach myself to material things. In that sense now, because I see so much of it, it's just part of my daily life. If I could collect, maybe I will, but I'm not sure what I'd like to collect yet. Which artist? Who?
Just going back quickly to the restoration work, do you find the materials that will match the original work, like the kind of oil they use, the acrylic, or the kind of fabric they use? Do you try to do that, or?
You match it?
Yes.
Oh, that's such a good question,
Yeah.
sir. You know, like the other day, I had an assistant who used to work for the National Museum, and you know, he was bragging left and right who he was working for. And when I told him, okay, help me here, assist me, I realized mali-mali yung kanyang technique. Okay, it doesn't necessarily mean that dapat pareha yung material. But what is important is it's reversible, that you can remove it. No? And then normally kasi, if the painting was created in a certain period, there was no acrylic paint in the 15th century. So the artists, they would make their own pigments. Now, as art progressed towards the modern period, materials became more modern. So people produced resin, acrylic paint. Even us, the materials we use for conservation, I have specialized conservation paints that are brought in from New York. Americans modernizing our paint system, paint mixtures that they've created in Italy, like the old school na ini-improve pa further ng America. So one material is Gamblin conservation colors, so that after you make retoque, hindi naninilaw the yellowing part. So even us, it's like medicine. Some doctors, they give you like antibiotics, but there's third generation, second generation. Parang there are medicines that have being phased out, and they give you the new ones because it's a little better. Like cars.
Yes,
Diba?
restoration in cars, yeah.
Even cars, people produce a better model every year. Sometimes it will not need gasoline anymore.
Well, we need to have a station break at this point. Sa amin pong pagbabalik, makakasama pa rin natin ang art conservation specialist na si Miss Annali Garcia. Please stay tuned.